We are back with a late recap of the ALDS, in which the Cleveland Guardians bow out to the New York Yankees in 5. And although it stings now, I think as the offseason gets further along, the season for the Guardians was much more fun and productive than many of the national pundits and even its own fan base thought of that it was going to be in the beginning of the season. So I see no reason to look at this season for the Guardians as a disappointment in any way. I thought, they didn't have much expectation going in. They didn't even know if they were going to keep Jose Ramirez around. They were able to get that deal done. And then they were able to have a roller coaster season where they do end up taking the AL Central that nobody seemed to want to win for a long time. And they were able to get a playoff series win, and they took the Yankees the distance. So, again, a team that is crazy higher than them in payroll. So, again, I do think it was an overall productive season, an overall net positive for the Guardians, and we'll see where they go from here. But let's get into the series. Game 1 didn't do much to give Guardians fans much hope, as even though Steven Kwan would start the scoring off with a solo home run in the top of the third, the Yankees would immediately tie it in the next half inning, and they would get 3 runs in innings 5 and 6. The Guardians are unable to answer. They lose Game 1, 1-4. In Game 2, the Yankees seem to be picking up right where they left off with a 2-run homer from Stanton in the bottom of the first. However, the Guardians are able to drive in a run in the top of the fourth, but they strand the runners when the bases were loaded, something that would be kind of keep catching up with them as the series would go on. Rosario would get another solo home run in the top 5 that would tie the game. The game would go scoreless for the rest of the normal innings. It would head into extras, although Miles Straw did get on third base in the top of the 9th. Would have been nice to see him score the winning run against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium, but whatever. In the top of the 10th, Jose Ramirez and Oscar Gonzalez would get across home plate. Josh Naylor with a double to send Oscar Gonzalez home. The Yankees are unable to answer that, and the Guardians would take Game 2 4-2. In Game 3, Josh Naylor would single Kwan in for a run in the bottom of the first, and in the early stage of the top of the Guardians lineup was hitting well. In this game, that they also featured runners on second and third base getting stranded again. Again, those are runs that you usually want to get in. You can't really keep those stranded for too long. And the Yankees would get out to a lead. However, the Guardians in the bottom of the 9th would score 3, including another Oscar Gonzalez SpongeBob SquarePants walk-off home run in Cleveland. What an awesome celebration, that shot of the guy in the SpongeBob costume when he went up and hit that. It was a great scene. The Guardians win that game 6-5, and in Game 4, Guardians playing with house money. Either you win in advance or you lose and you have another shot. The Yankees would go up early. The Guardians did enough to make it interesting throughout the game, but they would not be able to overcome their 3-0 deficit, losing 4-2. And in Game 5, it was just had an off vibe for the Guardians early with Aaron Zavala and his nightmare start. He only lasted a third of an inning. He gave up 3 runs. The Guardians did have a chance at the top 3 to get some momentum back. They got 1 run, but they had the bases loaded again. They are only able to drive in 1, and they stranded 2 runners. Again, can't do that consistently against a team like the Yankees. They are not able to get much else offense going. They lose Game 5, 5-1, and their playoff run is over. However, like I said, I do think that this season was a net positive for the Guardians. And in the series overall, Steven Kwan was great. He's a rookie. He'll continue to get better. Another Oscar Gonzalez SpongeBob SquarePants walk-off. I'm always on for those. But again, too many stranded runners. We saw that against the Rays a little bit, but with the Yankees, it really did cost them to leave those runners stranded on base and not getting across home plate. However, the team, again, very young. A lot of rookies hitting numbers and hitting in clutch situations where you don't expect them to. They weren't expected to even get this far, let alone take the Yankees to the brink of elimination. So good for them for getting there. And the team is in good shape despite the owners being really cheap and not willing to hang on and retain most of their expensive talent. Again, there was an issue of would Jose Ramirez even sign, and even though he did end up signing that deal, I think it was a little bit of a cheaper deal than he could have got if he truly wanted to hit the open market. But Jose Ramirez showing that he did want to stick around in Cleveland and willing to take maybe a little bit of a cheaper deal than he could have got if he just decides to get traded to the Blue Jays and then hit the open market. And I think that does show how competent the Guardians front office is. Again, I'm not much of a baseball fan. I don't know much about the Guardians and who's running their show, but they're doing a bang-up job because, you hear about how the owners are, they're cheap asses and they don't pay for anything. But the Guardians managed to stick around and make some noise when it matters. So thank you all for watching. If you made it this far in the video, please feel free to leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed and you'd like to see more like it. Let me know what you thought about the Guardians season, how they performed in the ALDS, and how they'll do moving forward in the comments down below. Thank you all again for watching, and I will see you at the next one.